Yeah, we're gonna have to do something about this. Good morning, everybody. It's Jack from Atlantis Water Gardens. Today we're in Franklin Lakes, New Jersey. We've got a streaming waterfall that is in desperate need of our help. This pond's been here for about 20 years or so. I actually like all the stonework, all this lichen and moss on here. It looks very aged, especially underneath this canopy of trees. It's a nice shady area pond. Got a couple things going on with it. They used a pool style skimmer to run their filtration system. I'm going to show you the other half of that and what the problem is. That's going to be abandoned, and we're going to put a brand new Aquascape Signature 1000 skimmer over here, which means we have to take apart this section of pond in order to make that happen. But the real reason we're here is this streaming waterfall. It is leaking pretty badly, so they can't even run it, and it's also leaving them a bit uninspired. There's not too many cascades in it. It's just kind of running through the rock work and spilling into the pond, not creating the best visual, and it's not giving them really any great sound. We want to take advantage of this whole garden space back here. We've got this beautiful flagstone patio. We're going to take and remove this entire streaming waterfall, install a new 6,000 biofalls back here, which means we're going to build a retaining wall behind it and berm that so we can get that waterfall moved out where it's more visible. I want to see cascades coming down and then have a pooling area come close to where this patio is and work its way around this existing tree back into the pond. That's going to give us a lot more action with the waterfall and a lot more interest utilizing the landscape footprint. Right now we've got an existing filter system that is just not doing the job. It's a bead filter with an external pump. It's not actually clearing the pond very well at all. We're gonna remove this entire thing from this shed and use our 6,000 biofalls instead. Now this is a finished landscape, really, really nicely done, and we don't want to tear this place apart. That's why we put in this plywood road to get the machine back here so we can start doing our demolition. Let's get it rolling.
Check this out. Instead of using underlayment in this pond, we found layers upon layers of old carpet. And see, after it's been sitting here for time, it just starts to deteriorate. It's worth nothing. That's why we use our underlayment. Protects it from decay, protects it from roots, protects it from critters. But this certainly is shagadelic carpet. We've got the skimmer in place. We've got it leveled side to side, front to back, and we've set our water level based off the overflow on the back of the skimmer, and we got it just in line with where the old skimmer was. So we're going to keep the water level exactly where it was in this existing pond. What we're doing now, we're focusing on putting on the faceplate. This is one of the most important parts of the installation here, because we have to make sure that this seal that's right between this and the liner is watertight. So what we're going to do, using our silicone, going to put a nice thick bead of silicone around the edges, secure our hardware right to it, make sure everything's tight, and that's what's going to give us our watertight seal.
We got day 2 starting. How did Drew do yesterday? Did he tell you to stay tuned?
Maybe once.
Here's what we got. The new skimmer is pretty much installed. Right now, Drew is digging for an overflow pipe. This way, when the pond gets too much water from a rain event, it can go out the back of the skimmer through our overflow in the pipe and then down into a dry well that we're digging. The soil here is sandy. It's also got a lot of gravel in it, so it's going to drain well when it comes to overflow. The pipe that's going to feed the waterfall is a 3-inch, and it's tough sledding on the backside. A lot of roots back there, so it's going to be difficult to get through. we have to get over to where our Biofalls filter is. Right now, Bolivar is prepping where our waterfall is going to enter the pond. It had a shelf here, but we actually want to make it a bit deeper so it'll support some boulders. So we got some nice ones this morning. We will also be retrofitting some lighting into this pond. We're going to be working ourselves into the side of the rock work. Probably put 1 or 2 down the bottom also. I want to put some seam tape on the wire so that it stays down, so you have a bunch of wires floating in there. It's going to look like a nice professional installation. This Biofalls will be the start of our waterfall, and when we're finished, you will not see it, I promise you. On the back side, Bolivar created this nice retaining wall that's going to hold back the berm of dirt on the other side of the waterfall. So from the neighbor's house, they get to look at a nicely constructed stone wall. We went ahead and leveled out this entire stream section. There's a bedding of sand on top of the dirt because we're finding a lot of sharp rocks underneath there, so we want to make sure we get a good cushion. Our next step is going to be installing our concrete cloth in the waterfall areas. This way the rodents can't get through to the liner, which is going to be extremely important. A lot of chipmunks here, and they like to chew on liner, especially underneath the biggest rocks in the waterfall. They usually do it in the wintertime when the waterfall is turned off. You go fire up your waterfall in the spring, and you find that it's losing water, you're not seeing any leaks anywhere. Well, it's usually going straight down underneath those big rocks because they chewed holes. I think they use the material for a nest because we found some nests underneath these waterfalls sometimes, but they will get at it if you don't take precautions. The concrete cloth is not inexpensive, but in the long run, it's a great insurance policy to keep those chipmunks from destroying this beautiful waterfall. Our goal today is to get all the lighting installed in the pond, skimmer finished up, and get rocking and rolling on this waterfall. I want to see us maybe 70% done with the waterfall today, leaving one more day to finish this renovation and fire it up.
I've got a ton of gravel in my shoes, girl on my shoulder, heart full of blues out in the dirt, down in the dirt. I've been a real bad boy on the town all night, starting to calm down with the morning light. I'm in the dirt, down.
Drew's been over here working on the skimmer all day, but he's doing a great job. We eliminated that old pool skimmer that was here. Believe it or not, we had enough liner to get up behind our rock work. Drew cut a shelf in there. We did all the stonework that's in here. Right now he's just finishing up hiding the new skimmer. Tied in all these big slabs. He actually moved this one in so it meets up to that lid nice and clean. So when it's all finished, that'll just look like part of the stonework. Great job, Drew. Wally's got some lighting that is retrofitted inside here. We've got some lights down the bottom. We actually seam taped the wires down so they wouldn't float and become messy. We've got some other ones that are being tucked into the rock work along the way. Right now you're looking at the waterfall that's going to be coming into the pond. This rock here has a couple small ridges in it, where it steps down. We're going to keep that water right over here. This is nice and level. I got a couple rocks behind that's going to create some white water before it hits this, and then it's going to come off of here into the pond, framed out by this nice large boulder on this side, along with some stonework over here and some moss. This will get all mossed up so that when we're done, won't see any of that stuff. We're starting to tuck some of the ferns in along the way. That's going to be a really neat look because when we're finished, it's going to look like it's been here for 1,000 years. Up in the stream, we've got some cobble on this section because I put a large boulder over here, and I've got to keep it open enough to let the water come through. So it's going to be a tight turn around this tree. I want to get some real action happening inside here where it's twisting and turning, a lot of interest instead of just that straight runnel that was here before. Believe it or not, this is the start of a waterfall. It might not look like much right now, but I'm envisioning this rock and this rock framing a waterfall coming through here. Then we really choked it down over here, so it's going to be ripping right around here and then widening out into this pool, which is right up against the patio. I'm thinking like this rock here is probably going to stand up and level out. It'll frame out that side of the biofalls, and then I'll find something to kind of mirror it on that side. Building the waterfalls is the most fun and the most challenging part of this job. I got a lot of comments from people asking me like how to start their waterfall. It's difficult. It's difficult to give the answer because you're really beholden to the rocks that you're working with. So every single one is different for me. I go to the rock pile and I start to look around them, and something's like, that is like, all right, I want to work off of the edge of that for a waterfall. Or maybe it's this one with that slope, or maybe it's this one because it's got that flat spot. I'm always just looking around thinking like, what would water do off of this rock, and then try to recreate that, and then kind of build from there and see how it all fits spatially. And as long as it works and it looks good, then I'm happy. We got the rinse down happening. We are finished with this waterfall renovation. It's time to fill this pond up, plug it in, and go see what Pat and Amy think about their brand new waterfall.
Okay.
Wow, I wish I lost 20 pounds before he starts filming. Wow!
Oh my gosh!
Look at that.
Jack, this is awesome!
Wow, that is true artistry. Holy cow, look how big it is.
Oh my god.
You can hear it from, 50 yards away.
I love it. I love it.
This is so beautifully done.
Your team did such a good job. Such a good job. Oh, and the frogs are
Beautifully
back.
done.
I even see the frogs,
The frogs
already.
are back already. Look at this. Just beautiful. Just
I love
beautiful.
the sound of it. I love the sound of it. I love the flow. You had a real vision. Thank you
Look
so
at
much.
This is just true artistry. Really, you guys
Oh my god,
are
you guys are awesome. Awesome.
Look
at the
this.
greenery coming over too.
Wow.
It exceeded my
Unbelievable.
expectations.
Look at that flow.
There is nothing better than getting a reaction like that when we make a transformation in somebody's backyard. I think this turned out spectacular. Let me walk you through it. We started out with that uninspiring stream and waterfall that just wasn't working anymore, and now it looks like a really natural looking stream and waterfall system right up against this patio. There you are. You're sitting right next to the stream and waterfall, lapping right up against the edge here. These big boulders fit like a glove back here. Now you've got, I actually like the shed in the background. It's a very cool backdrop. We took and moved some of those ferns around, just planted them in those shady areas. They're doing fantastic. We were able to reuse a lot of the stone that was here. It already was nice stuff. It has that lichen and the moss on it. We've got about 10 tons of boulders in this whole renovation, which sounds like a lot, but I think it fits really well. Now this tree is a focal point because you've got that stream wrapping around the outside of it. Putting that skimmer in, you almost can't even tell that there's a skimmer there with that fake rock lid, and as time goes on, it's going to age and look just like the rest of the rocks around it. This is actually a very functional part of this installation because now we were able to put our submersible pump in there, which is larger than what used to be here, and feed up to that biofalls filter. And speaking of biofalls, we have that huge Aquascape 6000 biofalls in there, but right now you just can't even tell that the heart of the filter system is behind this waterfall. I love the fact that it's built in. No more pressure filter inside the shed or plumbing sticking out every place. It just looks like nature is in your backyard. These are some of my favorite types of projects. When we start with something and there's such a major transformation, people really appreciate that. Hope you guys like this waterfall renovation as much as I do. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you think about what we've done over here today. Hit that subscribe button. Come on back. Every week we're showing you stuff like this, beautiful water features, transformations, and how it's touching people's lives in their backyards. See you guys on the next one.